Matheson finalement qui reprend. Il reste 6 minutes 40 à la période. Revenu qui vient de sauter sur la patinoire. Je pense que j'aurai jamais à le dire ce soir. Nos amis vont le deviner. Et regardez qui a...
This is Ivan Demidov. He's a 19-year-old Russian kid who played his first NHL game last night, and he was the best player on his team. If you watch any hockey at all, you've heard of this guy. The fact he was drafted to the loudest market in the sport and he's showing up at the tail end of a heated playoff race to help them over the line means this is almost movie plotline level of craziness. I think everyone needs a quick lesson on who this guy is and how good he actually is. Lucky for you guys, I'm not a Habs fan, so I'm going to keep this video as objective and reasonable as possible from an outside fan's perspective. Who is this kid and is he actually all that? Ivan Demidov is the best prospect to ever step foot on NHL ice. It's been 18 hours since he made his debut, and I've actually already sent 3 emails to friendly merchants on Fiverr.com asking about constructing t-shirts and also constructing designs for the t-shirts for when he eventually breaks Gretzky's points record. Yeah, he is that good, and if you disagree, then I will block you from the channel, mute you, and publicly shame you. Okay, obviously I'm kidding, but this guy might end up being the best prospect Montreal has had since their legendary 1970s days. Like, actually, yeah, the hype is warranted for this guy. He played in the top Russian men's league this season, the KHL. Based on who you ask, it's either the best or second best league behind the NHL. He was 18 to start the season and a rookie on one of the better teams in the league. He led the team in goals and assists as a teenager. It's ridiculous. He did it while en route to becoming the highest scoring teenager in the history of the Russian league, passing Kirill Kaprizov. The hype around this guy coming in was ridiculous and it's warranted. If you can do it against the second best competition in the world, who's to say you can't do it against the best? Well, flash forward to last night and yeah, he delivered. Got a goal, got an assist, he led the Canadiens in game score, led the team in shot assists. He looked like the best Canadiens forward despite literally playing in Russia last week. But how is this kid so good? Well, the bread and butter of Demidov's game is in his puck control and stick handling. It's elite, like NHL level elite. His first career point was a perfect example of his poise in the offensive zone, his ability to create separation from the puck carrier, and how he can misdirect defensive defensemen with miscues. As he attacks the net from the goal line, he's on his inside edges. By dropping his left skate at the same time he leans and looks to the right, he gets Murphy to bite, but the skate carries him left, causing panic in Murphy. Even though Demidov is going behind the net, he never stops looking into the slot to see if there's an opportunity, and Newhook is there to score the easiest goal of his career. I would say this is where you might see something crazy with Demidov in a couple years. Like, if you're looking for an NBA comparison, this reminds me a bit of when Kyrie Irving entered the NBA in 2011. We don't really know what to expect, but he could be the best stick handling prospect we've seen since Patrick Kane or like ever. It's a new age of skating and misdirection we're seeing more and more often that makes him just feel like a new age prospect. I couldn't imagine Demidov playing in the early 2010s the same way I couldn't imagine Steph Curry playing in the 90s. I'm only going to mention this briefly, but the idea that Lane Hudson and Demidov are on the same team is stupid. This team might have 99 potential when it comes to future highlights. You'll notice it on his first career goal as well, which came 8 minutes after his first career assist. He burst into the offensive zone before hitting a fake slap shot from 10 feet in front of the net, pulling it to the backhand and tucking it in. What impresses me so much about this is a combination of, at a high speed, using the fake slap shot to pull it to the backhand, while deaccelerating into an angle and keeping the puck tight enough to not hit Soderblom's pad. Like, how is that a first career goal? That's just gross. It's exhausting defending him because of how often he misdirects and how quick he is to change the tone of a play. A surprisingly durable frame and frequently using cutbacks to tire out defenders. Tired defenders are part of the equation, but Demidov was maybe the best player in the entire Russian league this year at getting to the front of the net for his own shots. He averaged 10.5 slot shots per 60 compared to 3.5 slot shots per 60 as the league average. I know I called the stick handling the bread and butter of his game, but the streets know that this is actually the bread and butter of his game, getting to the net front in these highlight reel situations. He times his route perfectly to receive the pass with speed entering the zone. One of the hallmarks of a good downhill player is being able to force a defender to make a move and then you respond to that move in a positive way. One of the best ways to do that is putting the puck into the skates of a defender, forcing a decision. Demidov puts it towards the defender before pulling back, pulling forward again through his own legs while sidestepping the defenseman and scoring. Like, that's just so gross, no? Like, That's so gross. Notice how his left leg goes out to protect the puck from the defenseman's desperation effort. The edge work isn't just fancy, it's necessary to go from good to elite at getting to the front of the net. The shooting heat map shows in a nutshell how effective he is at getting into dangerous areas and getting clean looks from in front. Everyone loves when a sniper can consistently rip it from 30 feet out, but if you can get to the front of the net at will, like, you just do that instead. It's way better. It's way easier to score from 5 feet out than 30. Looking at the map of how he times his routes to the net, he can take just about any angle he wants, and he doesn't seem to have any natural bias for how to get into a dangerous spot. That being said, there is some reason for concern with this in Demidov's game. 19 of his 23 goals this season have been in the slot, and his only goal in the NHL was from the slot. Although he did it in his first game, I don't think we can expect Demidov to be hitting the slot in the NHL forever going forward. There's less space, defenders are bigger and faster, and the tactics value preventing home play opportunities above all else in the NHL. For that reason, there isn't really anyone with the same build that Demidov has who's able to get into the net front as consistently as Demidov did in the KHL. He's going to have to work on his outside shot a bit, which isn't particularly hard, but it's definitely pretty accurate. I think this is going to mean we're going to see a lot more shots off the rush, which we actually saw last night. He loved this shot. He tried it twice. He bursts into the zone, shoots it far side on the rush. Didn't work out yesterday, but personally, I imagine this is going to become a highlight in the next week or two when it finally hits. He's got a pretty quick release, and I imagine the threat of his playmaking could create an advantage going downhill. His playmaking is so good too, right? You can see his high motor in action, quick to the puck behind the net. He has time and space where he sets up Nick Suzuki with a perfect pass. If it was more, on the tape, it would have been easier to prevent from Kaiser. It was placed in that position for a reason. Demidov's stick handling can break down team structures on its own. He strings together these combo moves while keeping the puck in hard to reach areas, and it leads to a highlight almost every time he steps on the ice. You need such a high offensive IQ to consistently think ahead of the play at the highest level, something Nikita Kucherov has done so well for Tampa, and something Demidov looks like he'll do for Montreal. The advanced analytics from his debut yesterday are pretty nuts. To be fair, it was against Chicago, right? But what we saw from the game yesterday actually mimics what we've seen from him in the Russian league all year, which is pretty promising. Demidov actually had more primary shot assists than anyone on Chicago or Montreal last night, which is incredible because he played just under 17 minutes in the game compared to 27 minutes from Lane Hudson or Nick Suzuki. It's a mantra I think we're going to appreciate in his game, which is efficient playmaking. Every time the puck is on his stick in the offensive zone, he's thinking about making a dangerous play. He can look like Quinn Hughes or Nikita Kucherov at times when he's in the offensive zone. There were times where he looked like the Canadiens' best forward and, best player. It was in more limited minutes, and his primary opposition was Chicago's third and fourth line. Sheltered minutes, right? But, that's fine. He's a rookie, and it was his very first game. As he collects the puck along the boards, Kaiser is quick to play the body. Demidov stands him up, composes himself, pivots, and sets up a perfect pass to the slot. A little bit later in the same possession, Demidov does a through-the-legs touch pass to set up Alex Carrier for a shot. It's constant offense, and it's kind of maximizing how many opportunities you can create in a single shift. Okay, so I've glazed the hell out of this guy at this point. I'm talking about him a lot. So is this guy the next Gretzky? What's going on with him? All right, well, I didn't really like his effort on this back check. Da-na-na. You've probably seen the clip by now online and might see people defending him as being tired, but a better effort here and the Canadiens might have clinched a playoff spot last night. I noticed this at another point during the game. It seems like he's the most nervous when the other team has continuous possession, and he's a little less likely to put maximum effort in on the back check. I could be nitpicking, but if he's getting extended minutes in the playoffs, you're going to see this get exposed, especially from a team as deadly off the rush as Washington. Demidov was also a little bit careless with the puck at times, which led to him having a couple bobbled plays and miscues. What I love though is, again, how efficient his playmaking is. He's always thinking about the next play and trying to make it happen. I think it's easier to fix the bobbling pucks instead of teaching this guy's game IQ to someone, so you kind of let it slide for now. And you can chalk it up to nerves and not fully understanding the team tactics as well. For now, he gets a pass, but especially next season, look at this to see if it ever improves. I did like this guy's poise a lot, coming into a pressure cooker environment and getting cheered every time he touches the puck in the loudest building in the league. That's the kind of thing that could definitely make someone fold, but Demidov encouraged it.
Got a pass and then when you score. It's crazy, that fans love me, and it's cool. Yeah, it's amazing. I think.
We got to start kind of thinking about playoffs soon with Demidov. The guy signed a contract that gives him $500,000 if he wins playoff MVP. So, he better start thinking about how he's going to get that trophy. Lack of physicality is definitely not a game ender. We've seen playoff MVPs like Kucherov and Marchessault, who were able to do it without being big physical guys. But this could be a way that a team like Washington or Florida or Tampa Bay looks to shut Demidov down starting next week. Next season, I could see Demidov being a 25 goal, 50 assist guy who wins the Calder. I think the goal scoring is going to need a bit of work, especially once teams start leaving him to the outside a little bit more. We saw him tear apart a Chicago defense and get to the slot at will, but it's Chicago, right? This guy's player type is like a agile, puck-handling offensive phenom. He reminds me of Nikita Kucherov way too much for me to say it's not a player comparison, and that's probably why I brought him up like 20 times today. The sky's the limit for Ivan Demidov and this entire Montreal Canadiens group. They have a legitimate superstar prospect who I think might end up being the face of this group for the foreseeable future. The youngest core in the league, and they're defying all odds by making the playoffs. The fact they overcame adversity and made it here before Demidov laced up his skates for the first time, I don't know. I don't think I would want to play him in the first round. It seems like it's going to be Demidov versus Ovechkin in round 1. If that's the case, that's about as exciting a series as you could imagine, and it's happening later on this week. Tune into the playoffs, guys. I don't think it can get better than this. This guy brought a new level of excitement to the loudest market in hockey, and I think it's safe to say the Ivan Demidov era in the NHL has officially begun. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. I really want more subscribers. I eat subscribers for breakfast.